In a recent interview with GameIndustry.biz, Final Fantasy XIV's director Naoki Yoshida spent some time discussing the game's recent milestone, hitting 10 million players. While Yoshi P in no way purports the fact that Final Fantasy XIV has 10 million active players, he did go on to verify that the 10 million players comprise both active subscribers and users with an active free trial. Interestingly, Final Fantasy XIV's recent Stormblood expansion is the reason behind the boost to over 10 million. Players wanting to jump back into the game, renewing their subscriptions again, and new players just wanting to finally take the plunge to see what all the hype is surrounding the game. Regardless, maintaining an active subscriber base in today's MMORPG market is an incredibly difficult feat to accomplish, as the vast majority of pay-to-play MMORPGs switched over to free-to-play models. And with very good reasoning. The pay-to-play market just isn't really a viable market anymore. Although, at the very same time, we have import after import of Eastern MMORPGs from Korea like Black Desert and Blade and Soul and Revelation Online and even Bless Online, all more or less being rushed over within a year of each other. Then you have low-quality MMORPGs like Critica Online and Closers Online and Soul Worker Online, which are all very fun MMORPGs, but all very instanced MMORPGs that people don't really care about or don't really devote like a prolonged amount of effort or time into. Now, here comes the part of the video that you're no doubt waiting for. Yoshi P went on to elaborate on the current content that is accessible through the free trial, explaining that you can access all the way up until level 35, whereas in other MMORPGs that offer the same form of trial of the game, such as World of Warcraft, they lock you out of the game upon reaching level 20. Now, when World of Warcraft's max level is a level 110, and Final Fantasy XIV's is only level 70 as of the recent Stormblood expansion, you can see the contrasting differences in content available to free players looking to test the game out. You never know what you're going to do the following month, Yoshi P says. Everyone has a busy schedule, you never know how much game time you can put into the following 30 days, but we're asking for our customers to pay for those 30 days in advance. So it is something that is an obstacle. The hurdle is pretty high. So then, how does Final Fantasy XIV manage to continue to convince its players to keep coming back? By maintaining a high quality game, or in Yoshi P's own words, reliable servers, regularly updated content, and a fairly substantial volume of additions with each patch. Now, regarding how much of the game is presented freely to players, Yoshi P went on to mention that when we release our next expansion, we might consider opening it up to let people play up until level 50. I want people to at least try to get a feel for the game, and then I'm sure they'll want to continue playing. This model, offering players so much of the game, incentivizes players to purchase a subscription to continue their adventures. Now, specifically what Yoshi P mentioned next was, surprising, and it did in fact catch me a little off guard. He went on to say, that being said, if 80 to 90% of our players are demanding we go free to play, then we might need to look at shifting our business model. But we would also need to change our game design to match that business model. It all depends on what the game design should be based on, what our players' needs are. This means that Yoshi P and the Final Fantasy XIV game could very well adopt a free-to-play model in the future, if, and only if, a substantial enough percentage of the game's population in fact want this. Now, that being said, Yoshi P did go on to say that our active subscribers are the largest it has ever been. So, what do you guys think? Would you guys want Final Fantasy XIV to go free to play? Or do you prefer it as is, a high quality paid MMORPG? Like, let me know. For those of you that currently play the game, for those of you that don't currently have an active subscription, or for those of you that have never even tried the game.